Board to order. May I have a roll call?
Figueroa,
Here.
Goodrich,
Oh, yes.
Haid,
Here.
Kovac,
Present.
Lewis,
Present.
Redzinski,
Here.
Rego.
Here.
We have a quorum. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
James, please read our Fenton mission, beliefs, and Bison Way statements.
Our Fenton mission statement: to cultivate
Successful, passionate, empowered learners through rigor, relevance, and relationships. Fenton belief statements. Successful, passionate, empowered learners thrive when we provide a safe, caring, and welcoming environment. Diversity, equity, and inclusion unify our community. School and home collaborate as one. We champion innovative teaching and engaged learning with state-of-the-art facilities. We infuse social emotional learning into academics and culture. We prepare students to fulfill their civic responsibility. We immerse students in authentic life experiences. The Bison Way. Students and adults at Fenton High School create a safe, caring, empathetic environment where we believe in each other, respect diversity, communicate openly, grow together, and hold each other to high expectations to become the leaders and innovators of the future.
Mary, do we have any requests for public comments?
Yes, we have two.
As a reminder, public comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker with a limit this evening of 30 minutes total. Mary?
Patrick Escobedo.
Good evening. President Lewis and members of the Board of Education, my name is Patrick Escobedo, and I am the president of the Fenton Education Association. I'm here tonight on behalf of our entire association because we are seriously concerned about the tone and direction of our contract negotiations as we head into next week's first mediation session. Now, I'm not here to tell you about your teachers' love of Fenton. I'm not here to tell you about their unique service they provide to the students here. And I'm not here to tell you about the deep frustration they felt throughout this process. If you've been listening the last 4 months, they've said that far more eloquently than I can. I'm also not here to give you a history lesson. I'm not here to tell you that this Board of Education decided 17 months ago to open our contract because our previously agreed upon 5% raise was deemed by the superintendent to be unacceptable. I'm not here to tell you how we used that year to prepare a fair and thoughtful contract negotiation package to bargain at the table. Not here to remind you that at the start of those negotiations, we were told that it was the board's intention to achieve a contract that would be overwhelmingly ratified by our membership by April of this year. And I'm not here to tell you that we are filing a 15-day notice with the Illinois Labor Relations Board, making them aware that we have still not achieved a contract almost 2 weeks out from the start of the school year. Again, all of this you know. Rather, I am here tonight to ask you to consider and to act. I want you to consider what it is your teachers do for the kids that go here. On average, teachers at Fenton work 9 extra hours a week to prepare, to plan, to collaborate, and to do all the things that make them excellent teachers. That means our 5-day work week is effectively 6. I want you to consider that they educate themselves. 77% of your teachers have a master's degree or higher. They go back to school at great personal cost to learn the best teaching methods, to current practice, to deepen their content knowledge, to make them excellent educators. And I want you to consider that they stay. Fenton has a 95% retention rate, higher than the state average. That's a celebration. That's something we should be proud of. That doesn't just happen. That happens because of the place that we create to work in. Your teachers invest their lives and their careers in the students of Bensonville and Wooddale that go here. And in light of that, I want you to consider what a contract is. A contract is your investment in them. A contract
I yield my time so that Patrick can finish.
How many do we have?
Two speakers.
There you go.
Continue.
Thank you. A contract is a promise made by this board to honor the work and the dedication of the teachers who come into this building every day to educate, in many cases, your children. And I want you to consider that this is happening in light of a national teacher shortage. We're having this conversation when teachers from all over this state and all over this country are leaving this profession in droves because they cannot make a living doing what they love. This board has a choice. You can be part of that trend, or you can buck that trend. And you can look at the contract negotiations that we're currently in as a way to honor the work, the education, and the dedication of your staff. Finally, I urge you to act. First-hand knowledge is so important, and I encourage you to find ways to inform yourself of what's going on. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my colleagues' words for it. And don't take as gospel the updates that you get during closed session about how contract negotiations are proceeding. Our negotiating team welcomes every single member of this board to come and sit in, not just President Lewis, but all of you, to come be part of, to observe what's happening at the table, to inform yourself so that you can do what you were elected to do, which is to make the best decisions possible for this school. 7 of you are the elected leaders of this building. There's nobody above you. Please seize this moment and use that power for good. Please. Your teachers deserve it. This community deserves it. The students that go here deserve it. I thank you for your service. I thank you for your time this evening.
Next. Yes.
Jen Selucky.
I give up my time, so.
Okay.
In regards to, that's the last? Okay. In regards to contract negotiations, we want to make sure Fenton has a fiscally responsible budget so we can continue to provide our students with robust academic and extracurricular programs. We are cognizant of our fiduciary duty to taxpayers of Bensonville and Wooddale. And we have great teachers here at Fenton. And we'll continue to support our teachers and provide competitive compensation that is fair on both sides. Thank you. Next item is recognitions. Dr. Benson.
Okay, thank you. If we could have Kayla and Caitlin come on up. As you can see, we're here to honor Caitlin Hoffing, All-State Softball second team, and Kayla Valadez, third team All-State. And of course, Coach Mello will be coming up also. Coach, thanks. Okay, so we're going to start with Caitlin because she is a graduate, and we've honored you over time, and you've honored us with your performances. So we're so glad you could make it back here today. So a few of her accomplishments, and Coach Mello will probably be able to expand on some of those, but just a few of them. She holds a record, which was 117 career stolen bases, is now 121 career stolen bases for Caitlin. 38th all-time in the state of Illinois. She's also the career leader here at Fenton in batting average, walks, and on-base percentage. And notably, this happened in 3 years, as of course the first year was COVID shortened, her freshman year. And also, if you hadn't seen, Caitlin has had her jersey retired, number 1. You can't really see that, number 1, right? Yeah. Okay. And you are number 1 in many categories, quite honestly, so that was a fitting number. She's the 3rd Fenton softball player to have her jersey retired. As I said, she graduated, and now she's continuing her career at Triton College. One more round of applause for Caitlin. Fortunately, we still have Kayla for one more year, right, Kayla? Yeah, okay, good. So she's 3rd team All-State and has done a tremendous job and is a rising star within our program and really brings a lot of positive energy and tremendous play to the program. So congratulations to her also on her 3rd team All-State honor. I'd like to turn it over, if Coach Mello, if you had a few words, or ladies, if you'd like to say a few words.
Thank you. I'm going to skip the microphone if that's all right. First of all, thank you, school board and administration, for this great recognition for these 2 players from our program. You know, obviously the program is made by the players. That's why I'm up here. It's not that anything that I did. It's all the hard work, time and dedication that they, as well as their teammates, give to the Fenton Fast Pitch program. You know, Mr. Benton talked a lot about Caitlin, and I'll get there in a second, but we are fortunate that, as he said, Kayla will be back next year. And in many of those statistical categories that were mentioned, Kayla is 2nd on the team, like, of the current players behind Caitlin. You know, and it'll be next year, she'll be stepping into that role of being our team leader, not only on the field, but with the voice that the girls will be looking up to. And as that leads me into Caitlin, she had one of what we determined to be our 3 best softball players that we've ever had here to learn from. You know, and I've said much about Caitlin through the years, and we're very sad to see her go, but we know that she showed Kayla and the rest of the program what it takes to be amongst the best in the state, because 2nd team starts at 26th best player in the state of Illinois. The 1st team was 25 deep, and she's on the 2nd team. So, I mean, she's somewhere in that 26 to 50, and that's through the Illinois Coaches Association. So what she did on the field, not only with the numbers, but she stood out when teams would play against us, and we played against many of the top teams, not only in the area, but in the state, and the coaches would notice right away. You know, and I'm glad to have one more night here, not only with Caitlin, but with Kayla, and want to thank you again for your time for this recognition. And I believe they want to say a few words.
First off, I'd like to thank my coaches, Foz and Illich, who aren't here, and of course, Mello. I've shown Mello my appreciation throughout my whole career, as he's been my coach for the past 4 years, and I've been an all-state player now for the past 2 years. This is my 3rd time, so I've thanked him multiple times. He's been my rose giver for NHS too, so I hope he knows how much I appreciate him. And I wouldn't be here and where I'm going in my future without him. He literally gave me the connection to the coaches at Triton for me to play softball there too. So thank you. And I'd also like to thank my parents, because they've provided me with love and support for all my life, and these past 4 years especially. And I hope they continue to do so. And also my teammates, especially Bella and Kayla here, because they were 2 of my closest teammates throughout these past 2 years. And I will cherish the memories we made very much.
Good.
So, thank you.
Hello. I'm just going based off of what Caitlin said as well. I want to thank my friends and family, like the athletes that I played with. There's nothing, you can't get a friendship like that. And the family, you realize that's there for you. You realize who's really there for you with who you play with. And I just want to also thank Illich and Faust, who also aren't here, but Mello. He said that the program is really made between the work that we put in, but I truly think that Mello sparks the passion that we have for the sport. So thank you, Mello. And yeah, thank you for having me here.
Okay, if you come forward, we're going to take a picture. Parents, if you want to take a picture, that's fine too.
Beautiful.
Right here, there's more space right here. Off the screen, guys, step forward. Step forward a little bit.
First, right here. 1, 2, 3.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies.
It'll be great. Retiring out of Jersey next year.
Yeah, she's
Stick with it, yeah?
she's gonna stick with track. But
I have faith in Chris.
she's coming back to volleyball.
I'll see you around. Yeah. See you,
Our next item is informational item. James?
Sure. Dr. Benson's going to kick this off with a little bit of post-secondary and career expectation framework.
Thank you, James. Okay, so you could see we were really excited on July the 19th. We hosted an administrative academy here at Fenton. Administrative academy is each administrator every year goes to at least one academy. It's basically a day-long seminar, and so we hosted it this year. And it was the DuPage Regional Office of Education, as well as the P20 Network out of Northern Illinois. And we had great turnout. We had school administrators, curriculum directors, assistant superintendents from all over the area that came here. So it was really a great time to kind of break down what are the post-secondary and career expectations. That picture right there, we were able to bring in some of our graduates, and it was actually a wide array. It wasn't just like you graduated last year. It's people who went back 5. One lady was even graduated 10 years ago. And they were able to talk about what Fenton has done for them, what the new standards basically stand for, and what we can work on. So it was really a great day. The feedback was great. So anyway, so that's one of the highlights of the summer. I'd like to thank Michelle Papa-Nicolau, who really is a leader in the area, in this area, and is connected well with the regional office and, like I said, with Northern Illinois. So we have a nice network now that we can work with as we prepare our work. So like James said, the PACE framework, the Career Connected CTE Illinois, that's the P20 network out of Northern Illinois, and then ISB, which is obviously behind this push that we look at our career pathways and set expectations and opportunities for students. Next slide. Okay, so what are we talking about? Well, there was legislation that was passed, and I'm not going to go through all these details, but basically this is a broad overview of what we've been working on. CPS doesn't necessarily apply to us, but the next one does. July 1st, 2025, school districts shall adopt the career exploration, career development activities, and as you can see, it's grades 6 through 12. So obviously, we're the leader in the area as far as the school districts go about preparing students for college or some sort of post-secondary work or trade or whatever a student goes into, and providing those experiences. So it was nice that we hosted this. We did have people from our sender districts that attended, so that was nice. So we're going to basically spend this entire year creating a personalized framework as far as how we're going to help students prepare for what comes after high school. So there are guidelines, there is a framework that the state has established, but like I said, we're going to personalize it. So basically, what do we want to do the end of 9th grade? What do we want a 10th grader to know all the way up until their senior year, and what we want to focus on and make sure students are given a wide variety of opportunities. So I'm not here today to go through our entire framework, but I do want you to know that this is also part of our strategic plan, and we are partnering not only the regional office, but Northern Illinois, to help develop what works for us. What does our community need? And we're going to rely on all the stakeholders to be able to do that. So what does that really mean? It means the class of 2027, which if you haven't figured it out, that's our freshmen. So we got to get that down every year, right? 2027. So one career pathway endorsement for that class of students. Now, we're obviously way ahead of that. We've talked about some of our programming that we're developing, whether it be in the field of education, whether it be computer science and information technology. But you can see it does ramp up in there for other pathways to develop. So we're in good shape. We're out in front of this. You know, we're devoting staff to this because we know how important it is that students are prepared after high school for whatever comes next. There is an opt-out provision which we don't plan on exercising, but that's part of it too, and then further rules coming forward. Any questions on that? I know it was a brief, broad overview, but we thought, you know, we just had a nice session here earlier in the month, and you should know kind of what we're working on. So as we make progress, we'll bring that to the board. We'll say, here's what we're focusing on. Here's what we want to emphasize.
Board, I'm just going to throw it in there before we go to the back-to-school celebration that Sam's going to go over with. Just think of it this way, which made a lot of sense to me when I heard it the first time. We prepare students, right? But this is more specific. The mantra that I heard that I like a lot is every student deserves a career plan. And that's what we're trying to instill in our students and their parents as well. So if you like that, keep that one. So if someone's asking, hey, look, it's a career plan for our kids at a very young age. Okay, whether it's college, whether it's trades, like Sam was talking about. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, excellent way to sum it up. Okay, back to school update. Here we are. We're getting close. What is it? I think it's 19 days, 18 days, something like that. And here we go. So what do we do every year? We have new teacher orientation. That's coming up August 9th, 10th, and 11th. 9 new certified staff. So it's a pretty good class of staff this year that we're welcoming in. There's just some things listed. Obviously, there's a lot of nuts and bolts, right? You're a new teacher. You want to know, where's my laptop? Where are my keys? All those things. But probably even more importantly than that, we want to educate them right off the bat. This is what we're about here at Fenton. We're here to help kids. We want an equitable environment. These are all things that we get across over those 3 days. and still build in time for them to get acclimated. We've instituted things like a tour of the community, which we think is very important. There's also a Chamber of Commerce breakfast coming up that's kind of a big deal. Some of you may have been to that before. So there's some nice experiences for our new teachers, and that's what we have planned that week. Then we have our Institute Days coming up, August 14th and 15th. August 14th being our certified staff. So that one is heavier on teaching and learning curricular goals, as well as emphasizing these are supports that we have in place to help students succeed. So that's day one. Day two is all staff. We have a keynote speaker we're excited about. One of our goals actually came out through some of our equity work is we want to celebrate multilingualism and some of the strengths that brings to the table, which also fits into some of our curricular areas on strategies, ESL type strategies that all students can benefit from. So that's what we want to focus on. And of course, there'll be a lot of construction updates, right? Here's where you're parking now. How far are we going? Because not everyone is here throughout the summer. So there's some things we need to catch our staff up on. And then of course, Strategic Plan 2.0 we started last year. We'll continue an equity action plan also. The start of school, August the 16th. We started this a few years back. We really like it by starting the freshmen, just the freshmen from 8 to 10. And we have our link crew, some nice pictures there, brings back some good memories of the first day. And so basically, they kind of have free reign of the school. They go through the schedule so they can help figure out where they're going. And then at 10 o'clock, sophomores, juniors, and seniors come in, and of course the freshmen stay, and they run through the whole schedule again. So hopefully by then, something is registered in their minds, like what's bison time and things like that. So that's how we start off the year, and that's worked well for us. Just some save the date calendars. You could see some of those other items, things like textbook pickup are on the 10th. Freshman orientations on the 11th. Again, our link crew will be here. So that's a day where they can come in and have a free run of the building and see everything. And then we obviously have things like we want kids to get involved right off the bat. So we have you mind going back? The involvement fair on the 24th. Home football games will be at Triton, so we got to put a special note about that. It's a really nice field. We'd rather be here, but we know we have a greater calling going on right now. So we will have fan buses going to those games, so we hope to still have a good turnout there. And then there's the open house on August the 31st. And then homecoming, for those of you wondering, Tropical Paradise is the theme this year. So.
Sam, what are you going to be doing for homecoming this year?
Well,
Hawaii
next
5-0.
slide, please. Let's see. Man, we didn't even plan that. Here's our Spirit Week right off the bat. You know we like to have fun. Wednesday is Neon Day, which is also board meeting day, I think. So stay tuned, Kent. We'll see.
We'll see who can wear more neon on that day.
And feel free. I mean, if you want
challenge is thrown.
to, if you feel like coming in neon, that's fine too. Anybody, you know, I'll be in neon on that day. But otherwise, it's just a great way to start things off. Pajamas, superhero, team day, and then of course Bison Pride. So, and with that, that's the start of the year. Any questions?
Thank you, Principal Benson. It's going to be fun. Next up is a budget timeline. I'm pinch hitting for our Chief School Business Officer, Mr. Martin. He's not here this evening. So this is just real quickly. We do this every year, board, and Bruce and his team has already started creating a budget for next year. Just key important dates here, August 23rd and September 27th. August 23rd, as you guys know, it's a board meeting. That's when Bruce will bring the tentative budget. The key word is tentative. That will give you about a month to look over the budget on your own time, make some phone calls to Bruce or myself, or meet with us, ask clarifying questions, and so forth. Within that 30-day period as well, we will post the tentative budget publicly on our website, on newspapers, and here in the building. So when we come back in September 27th, we will take a vote. You will take a vote in regards to whether you approve the budget or not. But prior to the vote, there will be a public hearing. So the public can come to our meeting and ask questions officially to the board and to Bruce. As you all know, the key items on our budget is related and directly affected by our district strategic plan. Any questions on the timelines? Okay. Next up, I'm going to invite Mr. Cambick to talk about the community annual report, which is in front of you here. Very beautiful newsletter here that went out to all of our stakeholders in Bensenville and Wooddale. Rick?
Yes, hi. So this was mailed to every residential address in Bensenville and Wooddale. First week of July, I want to say the Friday. We wanted it to be after 4th of July, so people were back. This is a great highlight of everything that happened over the year. So you'll see on page 5 is Caitlin Hoffing, who was just here. But you'll see on page 2, Sarah Guerrero served with the Illinois State Board of Education Student Advisory Commission. That was in September. I even forgot that happened. So it's a great objective that James has kind of instituted, that we make sure that everybody knows what's happening at this school from year beginning to year end. So I've got it compartmentalized with the very first page is district updates. And for us, the big thing is the community to know what's happening with our construction. So we've got that right there. And then page 3, I typically like to have community-based stuff. So that's our foundation. That's the fact that our students are doing something very meaningful in the world, in the community, with the Illinois State Board of Ed. And then I've got a whole page for everything we do at all of our state competitions. And I like page 5 as unique student stories. So our student who was selected by the Chicago Bears for being a Latino youth leader. So there are only 2, one male and one female. And Dorian was from Fenton High School. He was on field at the Bears game. Sometimes you forget that when that happens back in October. And then you wrap it up with a full page of incredible academics. This young lady right here is going to Notre Dame on a full ride free, and she wants to study nanotechnology to cure cancer. So we're sharing her story. And then we round it out with page 7 as staff and all of the team members here, including yourself, or at least 5 of you, for getting your Good Governance Award. So I want to make sure that I touch every element of the school and make this an archival thing. As you see on the table, we have the last couple of years. Anybody has any questions, or they're coming here brand new, they can look back a couple of years and see what Fenton High School is all about. So we do give this out when we have senior citizens here for special events. We give it out when we have dignitaries. If we go and give presentations, we like to give this out. This tells the story of Fenton High School, and it's just a lot of great work that our students and staff have put in. And for example, Coach Mello, remarkable. I want to make sure that story is told correctly, and there's a lot of great teachers and coaches like Coach Mello who reply to my emails, stop in at lunch, and make sure all those facts are correct so that Caitlin Hoffing can feel special when that goes out to every single house. And then the back is where the post office knows to send it. We just put a real fun collage.
Fantastic. Before we go into the Fenton website, just wanted to give Mr. Cambick a huge shout out. He puts a lot of his time and heart into this. It's done well, it's written well, it's a fantastic publication with the pictures. In addition, as you guys all know, communication is important to us, and part of, again, our strategic plan. And next up, Fenton website, also part of our strategic plan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This one was a bit more tricky. It is the new world, so I'm sure most of you have seen the internet. This is our new homepage. It took a lot of hard work, and I want to thank Dr. Batson for giving me a lot of resources and good wisdom. but also Yark Halitech helped me with the digital construction of putting this together. So we had a plan, we decided what we thought was important, and then we just kind of had to do all the zeros and ones to put it together. So there are two parts. It's kind of hard to screenshot it and put it up here. So here is, in newspaper terms, above the fold. So you've got all your drop-down menus and the quick links. Quick links are extremely important. It's the quickest things that you can get to. So we have on the slideshow employment, because we do want to attract quality candidates. We've got a contact us button and about us, so that people can get everything they need if they want to reach out to us. The drop-down menus and the quick links are intended to serve the day-to-day purposes of the school. So we've got news, so you can see your high-achieving student and their friends. The academics, so you know what, which teachers are in each department and how to get hold of them. You have a parent drop-down, so parent resources, a student drop-down, so things that students might need to look for, a fully dedicated clubs and activities portion of the website, and a fully dedicated athletics. So they do not have drop-downs, it's just all about them. And then on the bottom part, we have a couple of new components. And shifting over to this, this new provider called Final Site, it gives us more of a sleek and professional look, as well as newer and modern tools and professional ways to communicate. So if I can get the finger, there we go. These resources it's a new function that they provide for us. And as you can see right here, the very first one is construction information. So we're going to update that as things go along. So on the home page, in the limited portion they can scroll, they're going to see a big crane, and if they want to know what's happening and what's most recent, the map of our campus. If I did that, I'm sorry. Student enrollment, I'll back up, for the 23-24 year. So everybody's going to that icon right now. We have a lot of colleges that come looking for our classes because they're reviewing transcripts. So we've got curriculum at Fenton. And then in January, all the students are looking at the course guide, deciding what classes they want, so that's very accessible. Your counselors, you gotta find your counselor. So this is a nice, visual, appealing way to get to the counseling portion of the webpage. And then the ARC. Lots of kids come to the ARC for resources. Mrs. Wright is amazing. All of her tools are right there, and it's much more easier for them to find on the website. It's visually appealing. And then here we go, here's the example of the students drop-down. So some of the things are duplicated intentionally, but it's much sleeker. At our prior website, there was a very long drop-down. So now we've got a drop-down that can go sideways, and some of the things are much more compact and easier to do. Also important to show right here, no matter where you go on our website, the translation tool follows you. So it's much more visual, it's much more front and center than our last website. So even if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, that option is going to scroll with you and will always be there. And then parents. So these are the tools that they might need from day to day. We also have another portion at the bottom that was hard to screenshot. It's called the footer. That is present everywhere. So if you were to click Bison PTO and you're reading about the parents, the footer stays with you, and that always goes everywhere. So what I find important about that, some of these quick links are repeated in the footer. So if someone is trying to get a hold of their English teacher, or they're trying to read some of the news items, and they're like, oh, you know what? I do want to go to that homecoming football game, but what else is going on that day? The calendar is in the footer at all times. So they can just, while they're looking at something, they'll probably see that calendar item, and they can just hop right over. Much better calendar tool. So I've got a lot more stuff integrated for parents and students to remember what's going on. So again, much more professional look, easier for the parents to navigate, and way easier for us to be putting content and managing the content up there. And then for our district operations, I moved those up to the top. So we still got them up here. You guys, the Board of Ed, alumni, and our district drop down. Those are a little more niche. So from day to day, the parents are going to want to know more about their classes, the teachers, the activities. And that's the website.
You know, I think one of my favorite parts of the website right now is that volunteer opportunities page. So just wanted to say I see it. I like it. Thank you for putting that in there.
And that's one of them that's on the footer. So no matter where they are on the website, that will always be visual.
Yep, I like it a
And
lot.
that goes directly to Dr. Benson, myself, and I think 2 other support staff. So,
Fantastic.
as well as, so that tool coincides with, James is a very big proponent of student safety, so we have the anonymous tip line right here. That anonymous tip line is also in the footer, and it uses the same technology to instantly send messages directly to people. So it's great to have much more efficient tools.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And you never know when
Appreciate it.
someone's going to have inspiration to decide that they want to volunteer. They could be reading any part of our website.
Appreciate the activities calendar with the athletics and those things. 'cause
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. My kids are horrible at keeping me informed and stuff.
So this is the footer.
They're just, only mine are like that.
And
I think that's pretty universal.
it's pretty incredible that I'm able to streamline the same tool instead of duplicating, because oftentimes we would the prior website would make us do it all over again. So if we changed one thing, we'd have to remember every other place that we put it. This website allows us to just create the same algorithm that uses the same thing. So we change it once and it fixes on all the different places. So that activities calendar is on the regular calendar page. So if parents are looking to see when school is out. And it's also on the athletics page. And it's also on the activities page. And I only got to fix it once or add something to it once, and it migrates to all 3 of them instead of me having to do something 3 different times and possibly forgetting that there was a 4th one. So the technology is much, much better, makes it easier, and benefits the students and parents.
With this particular software, we do have, are we meeting or beating the, was it the Web Accessibility Guidelines 2.0?
I believe we are exceeding.
Okay.
There was an additional component that was an add-on that we purchased that I believe it won't let me publish anything unless the accessibility components are met. So it's kind of like keeping tabs on me too in case I forget.
That's great. Really glad that we did that. So thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Go ahead.
I just said nice job.
Oh,
I second that.
and again, I couldn't have done it without Dr. Batson or Yar Kalatek.
Okay, shout out to Dr. Batson and Yuri.
Great job.
Now we move from digital communication to press. So Mr. Jaramillo will give you a quick update. Jose?
Sure. So as you guys can see on this slide, we've got 18 updated policies. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing that's really going to take a lot of our time in terms of having to debate and discuss. A lot of these are 5-year updates or footnote updates for you guys to review. So this is just a heads up. We'll discuss it more at length next month.
And I believe, Kent, you will facilitate the policy meeting?
That's correct.
Yep. And as well as Mrs. Timmons is going to forward the 18 policies to the rest of the board.
We included them on tonight's board book,
Perfect.
but they will be on next month's board book as well, with the policy.
Excellent.
And to call out, it's going to be an invigorating, 6 o'clock meeting, so please come prepared for that. So good. Nothing better than policy, guys.
It might be quick. It might be quick.
Maybe. We'll see.
Looking forward to it, Ken. All right, next up is water mitigation update. So real quickly, next slide, please. The mantra here is demolition, excavation, and drainage. The board had an opportunity to walk out to the field and see the work itself, as well as the interior work here in the building. But my job right now is to talk about water mitigation. So last month, the mantra was demolition, right? Let's take down the fence, and let's take down the track. And this month is demolition, excavation, digging holes, and drainage. So we've started that work, really excited. They're starting to build trenches where they could put the pipes. Some pipes have been put in already, coming to solve our water issue that comes down Grove and 83 through our property here. They've started digging and excavating the water mitigation tanks in our field, and it will probably go as deep as 14 feet below ground. So really excited about that. Any questions?
What's the plan for all of the, I guess, earthwork that's being removed?
The dirt work?
Yeah, is it gonna be like, reuse somewhere else on our site or use to level out another area or something?
I think we have already established the dirt that we need on campus. We got the good soil. Unfortunately, we cannot use all of the soil that has been dug up, so that a company, we've contracted a company to take on that dirt to be utilized, I believe, in regards to some of the work that's being done at the 390 or 490 exchange.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
but
great.
there is a lot of dirt.
Yeah.
Anything else? So next up here is facility updates, interior, work in the building. Jose?
Yeah, so earlier we went on a road trip, on a tour of the building. These are the AED and PE offices. We're upgrading their facilities so that all these individuals will be in one area with a brand new office. So this is just halfway there. You know, we will have new offices for the AD, the assistant AD, the administrative assistant, and then the 9 teachers that make up that department. So I can go to the next slide, John. This, as you remember, this is the NetSec area. We're going to have 2 classrooms now that we've had more and more enrollments. So we did have to create a doorway to link the 2 classrooms, as well as add all of the washer, dryer, refrigerator, and all that as well for them. So that's good. Next up, we have the art office. This is our teacher request for them to all be closer to their respective teaching areas. So we'll have 3 teachers in this area. Everything that they need to be successful every day. And then this is the tile work. They started on this already, as some of you already saw. This is from a few days ago, this photo. But this is updating tile, I want to say that is original. So a lot of them were cracked. There was gaps between the tiles. So we're just trying to, again, improve and update and make it look like the rest of the building. And then we also saw this classroom. This is going to be an expanded classroom for computer science and robotics. We removed the wall here. Should be close to finish on that one. And then we also have, we painted the field house as well as the wrestling room. They have not been painted in over 20 years, so definitely a much needed paint job here. So it looks much, much better, and hoping to have that wrapped up by the end of this week. And then lastly, we are replacing the HVAC in both the district office and the transportation office areas. This is ESSER funded. These units are from 1982, so again, much needed replacement there as well. Thank you, Jim.
This month, we received 1 FOIA from the Prairie State Wire, which is covers governmental news, which includes schools. They wanted information in regards to our substitute teachers and data related to them. That has been resolved with the FOIA process. That is end of our report.
Our next item is consent agenda. Consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved?
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Is that what happens next?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. That's me. All right. I have a comment on,
Point of order, this is a discussion on the order and what we're doing in the agenda, not on specific line items. Is that correct, Mr. President?
We don't know what the question is, Kent, first. Yep.
so,
Yeah, go ahead. Yep. Read.
motion 19.
This is a minutes question?
I'm sorry?
It's a minutes question?
Yes.
Motion 19, okay.
Yeah, on the minutes from last time. It looks like the adjournment time has a typo, where it says 1:15 PM. It's probably meant to be 10:15 PM.
That's correct.
And I would also ask on motion 18, in the paragraph, I had posed a question as to whether this was pension spiking or not. I didn't see that get into the minutes, I would.
Which
ask-
one, Mr. Goodrich, which one was that one again?
18.
Okay. And what does it say there? What was the topic?
That's
I
on the
don't have.
retirement track, and there was discussion about the retirement track. And then
Ms. Timmonson?
I'll have
Retirement.
to review that. So you're saying that your comment was missing from the?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not asking for an answer, but I would appreciate the question.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll have to review the tape again.
Which question is missing?
A question regarding motion 18.
Which question, which comment or question was?
I think, Mr. Goodrich, correct me if I'm right, what I heard from you is that your question during that discussion was not in the minutes. Is that correct? Correct. Usually when we write minutes, it's not verbatim that we're doing. We try to really capture the theme, the essential points, and so forth. If we do it per verbatim, word for word, that would be taken there. But we do, well noted in regards to that, Mrs. Timmons,
Yes.
and so forth.
I'm
Thank you.
just- I'm just trying to figure out which question was omitted.
He asked.
Right, what was the question?
I don't remember. Mr. Goodrich, do you remember the question you asked about the
Well,
retirement?
it was, my question was whether the retirement track sounded like, the retirement track sounded like pension spiking to me. That was the question.
Right. So the way I remember that, and Sam, I think you answered that question, is the last 4 years. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bruce did. Bruce basically reiterated teachers are on the retirement track. And, I mean, I don't want to speak exactly for Bruce, but he asked the question, and then Bruce restated what the retirement, the last 4 years of people that are in the retirement track at a 6%.
Right. Okay.
So are you objecting to the fact that the word pension spiking is not mentioned in the question?
Well, for me, yes.
Again, we try to summarize.
Well, I'm just posing the question. I'm not
Right,
meant to
right, exactly.
rehash motion 18.
Right. Just, it's a comment.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Because there is, the comment reads, Member Goodrich asked, what is a retirement track? So that's, it leads, the paragraph leads off with that statement.
Okay. So, well taken. It's a comment by Mr. Goodrich. Thank
Okay.
you. So with the motion, Carrie, it's with the correction of adjournment at not 1:15, 10:15.
Right, 10:15.
Roll call.
I just want to make sure that I heard correctly. So it was Member, Vice President Rego who motioned and Member Kovac who seconded?
Yes.
That's correct.
Thank you. Rego?
Yes.
Figueroa?
Yes.
Goodrich?
Yes.
Haid?
Yes.
Kovac?
Yes.
Redzinski?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
So this will be approved as amended.
As amended.
Thank you.
Motion passed. Committee reports. Bensenville Community Foundation.
I believe you guys have a meeting tomorrow, correct?
That would be.
Oh, sorry, yes, I was, yeah, I thought you said the Fenton Community Foundation, yeah. We have a meeting tomorrow for that. It's every other month, so we'll report back next month on the things there.
DEI, Board DEI Committee.
We're gonna meet in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Board Finance Facilities Committee. We've just given an update on that earlier, so. Board Policy Committee.
No,
Same.
no updates, we'll be meeting next month.
IASB delegate, or myself, nothing to report. Lynn,
Nothing to report? Unless,
No, nothing.
NetSec,
Nothing to report until next month.
Next board meeting, Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023 at 7 p.m. with a tentative board policy committee meeting scheduled prior to the regular meeting at 6 p.m. Closed session. May I have a motion and a second to go into closed session for the purpose of the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. However, a meeting to consider an increase in compensation to a specific employee of a public body that is subject to the Local Government Wage Increase Transparency Act may not be closed and shall be open to the public and posted and held in accordance with this act. 5 Illinois CS 120/2C1. Also for the purpose of collective negotiation matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees for 5 Illinois CS 120/2C2. Roll call.
Motion?
Motion.
All right, yeah.
That was Leo and
I
Sylvia.
make the motion.
Second. Leo? Okay.
Second.
made it.
To do the vote, yeah.
Now we
Yes.
roll call.
Rego?
Yes.
Goodrich?
Yes.
Haid?
Yes.
Kovac?
Yes.
Radzinski?
Yes.
Figueroa?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
President Lewis, just to reiterate, there's no action taken after closed session. So folks who are watching or who are present, especially Andy over there.
I'll make a motion to
Oh, yeah, you
close.
gotta make a motion, yeah.
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Haid,
Yes.
Kovac,
Yes.
Brzezinski,
Yes, please.
Figueroa,
Yes.
Goodrich,
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes. Motion passed. Back in open session. May I have a motion and a second to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
The majorities have it. Good night.
Thank you.
Aye. Yes.
Thank you, James, for reminding me on that. I would have thought about it as I was walking out and been like, oh, missed opportunity.